Hey guys, welcome to a very special video. Recently I was invited to the dev interview and roadmap. I was one of, I think, 5 creators, mainly War Guides, who wasn't able to make it due to a power outage, but he's still gonna have a video because I sent him all my footage. We also have Fastidious, we have Susie, and we have Prospector. So it was all of us in a call. We got to talk to some of the developers, ask questions, and all of that good stuff. And I want to share that with you guys today. I'm going to try to condense this a little bit to make it go by a little faster. And I'm not going to show too many clips from the meeting just because I want to try to respect your guys' time as much as possible. And there is a lot of cool stuff coming. There's so much content, new bosses, new Demon Soldier modes, new Void Rifts things. It goes even beyond that, which we'll get into very shortly, as well as a ton of new characters that look really cool, and a bunch of optimizations. There's a lot to love, maybe even a Soulstone pity being released. Who knows, right? We'll get into that here. But I do recommend checking out the other creators' videos and showing them some love too. But without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. The main theme for this one was less grind, more thrills. The whole idea of limiting the amount of time spent on things that exist already so that they can introduce other pieces of content and other things to do. That's how every game should do this sort of thing, so that is what the main idea was here. Going with the theme, the whole idea, once again, reducing time spent so you can introduce more content. We're getting new heroes, factions, teams, co-op bosses, campaigns, Titan boss, skins, open world content. There's a lot, and to kind of balance it out, less daily time consumption. We're getting better upgrade optimization, exclusive gear, gem acquisition, keystone acquisition, a lot of keystone changes, as well as gear management. There's a lot of stuff coming. So moving on, we start with the less grinding portion, which is going to be trying to fix certain things that are out already. So starting off, we have a quote-unquote more relaxed daily experience. From the gear management system, having integrated gear artifact interface optimization, various batch operations. So similar to like batch upgrade, we're getting more of that, making management more efficient and intuitive. This is good. I mean, Forge used to take freaking forever, and other areas as well. And then we also have gear and artifact forging, so we can forge more items at once, upgrade with a single tap, and it cuts down on repetitive actions. This is great. This is something that we want, and it's a good step. Moving on, we also have a couple cool things, like instant clear tickets. The sweep system is going to have sweep tickets through daily activities to instantly clear designated stages and free up time. This is going to be a consumable resource similar to auto fights. As you can see, we have the auto fight button here. There's going to be a different thing that allows you to insta clear. So if you want to farm and you don't have time, well, you can consume 10 sweep tickets and you'll get 10 runs done instantly right there on the spot. Now, we did ask how these would be attained, and they will be attainable through not only buying packs, but also just through playing the game. And while they will be finite, not every run's going to be a instant clear. They will be given out for free, which is huge. We also have some increased, quality of life on Dwarven Association purchases. Hero backup storage, this one is huge. It'll improve management and selling options for 3 and 4-star heroes, so you'll be able to just sell them from the menu, which is huge, especially for me when I do Vera summons and I have to click like 200 times to sell 3 stars and 4-star heroes. That's a cool optimization. We also have a couple things as in trial keystones and exclusive gear and artifacts. So I'm going to start with the exclusive gear. Not only are we getting a Elder buff, which if you guys saw my patch note video, is something that is coming soon, we are also getting exclusive gear and artifacts for Elder, Eunomia, and Gon. Obviously, it's open to more heroes, but these are the main ones that are confirmed. Basically, exclusive gear and artifacts are meant to kind of offset power creep and reduce the lack of ability that certain heroes like Eunomia and Elder have, and Gon to some extent. We also have trial keystone optimization. So there was a couple things that was said in the interview that were really interesting. First of all, we're getting more acquisition channels, we're getting more keystone drop sources, and more diverse gem types. But we're also getting some optimizations. We're getting auto fights for keystones, which is coming to Forerunner. And there were talks about considering, now this is not confirmed, this is not guaranteed to be happening, but they did say that they were hoping to look into instant clearing keystones. I think instant clearing 1 and 2 keystones, level 1 and 2 keystones, would be huge. Imagine you've done a level 4 mythic already, and you're just kind of wasting your time on these level 1 and 2s. Maybe allowing them to be instant cleared would be huge. That's something they were talking about, not guaranteed, but that was a big thing for me that I really hope they do. We're also, just a quick question that was asked, we're getting more purple coin options in the Awakening shop going forward. There's no other optimization to epics, but I think that's okay. Moving on, we get to the more thrills section. There's a lot coming here, and I'm going to try my best to break it down as fast as I can. So starting off, we're getting future gameplay updates. First of all, Mauer Calls is a big focus for them. They're planning on adding more monsters, trait variations, fun random events, and they are adding keystone durability, which is coming to Forerunner already, I think today. But this is a lot of stuff that they're planning on doing, as well as those auto fights like I mentioned. We're also getting Grimscale Invasion. It sounds like they really liked the idea of Grimscale Invasion, but they don't think that it was really fleshed out the way they wanted to. So the hope is maybe this will eventually become a permanent mode, so you could practice your DPS checks and try to work things out. Now, I asked a couple questions, and they said they would like to improve Grimscale rewards. I think that they really need to revisit the way that the rewards are formatted right now, and they said they would be down to do so. Now, that's all cool. But moving on, we get to the GvG. Now, if any of you guys know anything about me, I freaking love Guild versus Guild. Guild versus Guild is one of my favorite things in the game. And it's not for everyone, but I know a lot of people feel similarly. And they have a lot of different changes. I mean, look, it's freaking 2 pages. So GvG, they're trying to make it easier for the average player while also keeping it competitive at the high levels by adding some things like the 2-tier league systems, where I keep swapping the sides. It's kind of hard to do this, you know, all at once. But we're getting 2-tier league system. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that higher tier guilds are going to follow the existing rules. GvG for high level, approximately, as far as we asked, will be like a top 30%. It'll be pretty much the same with how it works. But for lower tier guilds, they're going to have fixed basic maps. They're going to have better rewards for the higher tier leagues, so people who really care about GvG. And there's going to be promotion, there's going to be relegation between the high and the low tiers. So they're separating it a little bit. So diehard, try-hard GvG players will only match against themselves and will follow different maps and different loadouts and all of that stuff, while people that don't really care so much are going to be able to take GvG at a little bit of a slower pace, which I think is pretty cool. We're also getting recommended Demon Soldier attack plans. This is only for the lower tier players, the people who are not diehard into it, and it's going to allow import of recommended lineups and auto battles for certain teams. So it'll be a team that says, like, you know, axes, and then it'll do the attack for you and stuff like that. But this is only designed for lower people. We're also getting bot strongholds. Players can attack AI strongholds, and rewards and HP contribution is lower than attacking real players. To me, this is an assumption that I'm making, that it seems like this will be if some people are not in keeps when you fight each other. It'll just randomly add a bot, potentially. I don't know how this is going to work. I didn't feel like asking, because I asked a bunch of other stuff. Now, we're also getting challenge task reward upgrades. New tasks are added for even better rewards. And then we're also getting a couple other things. So another Demon Soldier faction is confirmed. The new Blood Spring Creature faction is coming very soon, which kind of means 3 to 4 months around from now is my estimation. Now, they have high survivability. They have an attack debuff to lower the damage with damage reduction, and they also have lifesteal mechanics. And existing Demon Soldier factions continue to expand. and new Demon Soldiers will be released each season. So what this means is we're getting a faction every 3 to 4 seasons, most likely, and then we will get a new Demon Soldier every season minimum, which is pretty cool. We're also getting a different balance system sort of upgrade, which is a little bit up in the air. I did ask about this specifically, and they said they were going to introduce testing tools, expert evaluation group, whatever that means, to ensure proper Demon Soldier balance. To me, this just reads as, hey, we're gonna put more care into it. And they said they would try to, invite people to a testing group to kind of put more effort into this. But to me, it seemed like it was still a little bit up to the air. But what is important is they are hoping to try to tweak the way that GvG balance has been happening recently, because they acknowledge that Demon Soldier has not been very well balanced recently. They're trying to keep the strength of Demon Soldier slightly higher than the heroes to reduce frustration while attacking and preserve strategy, but they recognize it's been too out of whack. Now, a couple things as well. So Demon Soldier content, such as the Demon Conquest and Demon Soldier modes similar to that, they are planning on releasing more. So maybe updated Demon Conquest, maybe some other modes where you get to use Demon Soldiers in certain content, which is good. They said they will not be focusing it enough to where it takes away from the PvE content in the game already with heroes, but they do want to do more with Demon Soldiers, which is huge because I know everyone I've ever talked to about Demon Conquest really likes it. They also will reduce the chance of repeat opponents in GvG, which is huge, and that was a big thing for me that I made sure to ask. Moving on, we get to the new gameplay. The new gameplay stuff is pretty damn cool. So we start off with the new Titan boss. The new Titan boss, the way that you can kind of describe it, is Guild Boss 2 if it was Abyss. But it's a little bit different. You're gonna have to bear with me here because it's a little confusing. But we're getting multi-hero adaptability with arm mechanics. As you can see, we have some pictures as an example. This is not a end result, but this is what we have so far. We're getting new mechanics to increase survivability challenges from stuff like Guild Boss 2. It's going to be independent, so it's not going to be Apoc 3. It's going to be its own thing, just like how Abyss 1 is different to Nightmare 4, but they're really similar bosses. We also have shield and AoE strategy layers, and the way that this was described is very specific. This is going to be not only magic and physical, but it's not going to follow the same trend that Abyss does. It's going to be a little bit different. Now let me explain. So the way that Abyss works is it is 2 phases in one. It goes from physical, it goes to magic, it goes to physical, it goes to magic. This is not how this boss is going to work. The way this boss is going to work is one of the fights is going to be physical, and one of the fights is going to be magic. Now, this is a little confusing, right? But this is going to be 2 fights in one with 20 heroes total. So you're going to go into the first one with your first physical team. So what we could say is you'll go in with a Torador, with Wukong, Kagiri, maybe an Arrogance or something. And then you'll bring a Piercer comp with Yovar and Silas. And then you bring your healers. This is going to be one team. Okay? But you cannot use any of these heroes for the next one, which will be magic. So you have to do a completely different group of 10. So for that, we have to get 2 different healers. We have to bring magic DPS, like a Solkadins and a Pope team. And then we're going to challenge that as well, as how it was described, which I think is really cool. You can kind of think of it as Apoc 1 and Apoc 2, where you have to do one team for one team for the other. It's similar to that, but you're limited a little bit more in the damage you can inflict. I think it's really cool. It's a little bit of a twist on how Abyss works, while still being kind of similar. Next, we get Zombie Invasion. I think they need to try to focus this content more because this content was so fun. And it's out already, so I can skip past it. We also have Void Rift new maps, which are launching between October and November, and it builds on the original challenge while adding more exploration and novelty. This one is very, very, very important. They are doing a lot with Void Rift. Not only are they adding a new difficulty, something like an Ultra Nightmare. I don't know if that's the official name, but they're adding a new difficulty above Nightmare for Void Rift to maybe spice it up, make it something that you can actually have fun with trying to beat again. We're also getting a new route, which to me reads as, instead of a Lasir boss and a Torador boss, maybe there will be a new third option. And we are also getting new epilogue. So instead of it just being epilogue 1, we are also getting epilogue 2. So all of this is coming to Void Rift. Void Rift has been a very, very, very boring thing to do recently. And it's something that I never look forward to doing, but the rewards are really good. They're going to add not only a new difficulty, not only a new route, but also a new epilogue, which is huge. I'm very excited for that. Void Rift is some of the most fun I've ever had in this game the first time I did it. Also, quickly, the rewards from Titanic Ruins is undecided. They plan to release something new. So a new special reward to make it worth doing. That's something they're planning on doing. Now, moving on, we get to some very, very fun and interesting stuff with new gameplay. We're getting a brand new campaign, open world, and co-op bosses in real time, all of which sound amazing. So, first of all, the brand new campaign is going to be late 2025 or early 2026, and this is going to be hero limited to what they give you. It's going to not require any gear. It's not going to require any leveling. It's going to make you use heroes like Rex. It's going to make you use heroes like Cyclone, heroes you would never actually use, but you'll be able to use them and focus on more of the strategy and the team composition instead of the stats and the gear. I love this. As someone who has like Valara, Ingrid, Praetus, and everything, it's really just, do I use these heroes to beat up content? The answer is always yes, because that's the way that it is. You use the strongest heroes, and there's not as much variety as there used to be. A lot of the fun of experimenting with different weird, wacky team comps and undervalued heroes isn't really in the game. Recently, this is going to revitalize that. I love this change. We also have open world, which I don't know how this is going to look at all, but they're planning on having you go from small event maps to explore the land of Tia a bit more. It's going to be more immersive, discovery-driven, and exploration experience. This could be very hit or miss. This could either be the best mode ever, or it could be one that falls flat. We're not sure. This is planned for Q1 2026, and I'm very excited to see how this looks. I'm hopeful and interested. Then we also have the boss and real-time co-op boss. So this is going to be between October and November, Q4, and it builds on the original co-op stages while adding more exploration and novelty. You and a friend fighting a boss, really cool stuff there. And it's going to kind of be added to United Front from what I have heard, which is very, very cool. And something they said was very important is you still will enjoy the boss if you're on your own. So that's something there too. If you don't have friends, don't worry. And now we get to the hero stuff. These are big. Now, starting off, the biggest one, I'm actually going to skip the beginning, is the end of year. So this year, the next 3 to 4 months, the focus is making North Throne better. North Throne is the worst faction in the game by a mile. It is not close. The Northerners suck. The Lords suck. And I think Northerners are very underpowered, but they are planning on receiving new lords, so maybe a third lord, similar to how Nastia is in Esotericist. We're getting a new system. We didn't get any details, but that is something we are getting. And the faction will evolve into one of the core team building archetypes with greatly increased strategic value. So, not only are we getting an Elder buff as well, we are also getting exclusive gear and exclusive artifact for him. I know not a lot of people are happy with the Elder buff, but this is only the surface of how this is going to look. We're getting new stuff on top of that, and hopefully the North Throne can become an actually good faction, which is desperately, desperately needed. We also have a new class Tactician, which is live, and they're planning on doing a few more things, like they are not actually that happy with how Tacticians are looking right now. They think that they're being used kind of differently than they planned because they're not really being moved around that much. With the exception of maybe Malric calls sometimes, people are not really using the move mechanics because there's no reason to. So they're planning on trying to focus more on the move mechanics, make it so that you should be moving them more often, and exploring that a bit further. Not only that, there will be tactician units that do not have mounts. So they will either have no mount at all, or they will have mounts that are not horses. For example, you know, a freaking bird or something. That's not an advanced example they gave us, but it is one that I'm using as an example. It can be anything to ride. Also, they currently plan to only release legendary tactical master units, but in the future, they are open to releasing more epics. They're also going to have different roles, and they will be continued to be released. We are also getting a new faction and a new team. Now, new team, what this means is something like the Poison Comp is a team. Okay, the Poison Comp, which is Vorn, Numera, Nastia, and to some extent Vixera. Right here, you can see these guys all pair well together. They set poisons, they detonate poisons, they do lots of damage. They're very meta right now. This is a team. And when it comes to the new faction, there's going to be a new team with them. Not only that, it's a new freaking faction. We haven't had a new faction in over a year since the Arbiter and Chaotix. And they're planning on expanding roster diversity and breaking existing meta patterns, offering more strategic options. So instead of being limited to things like Valara and Lady A and stuff, maybe they're going to try to break some of that by giving you other options, which is huge. This is something people have been asking for a while. Now we get to the new heroes, and there are a decently large amount of new heroes. So the first one that I can show is this interesting looking electricity guy. I know he's modeled off of some mythology figure. I'm not even gonna begin to pretend like I know what's happening, but this is definitely the first one that we have to look at. We're also getting this girl. This girl has been said to be coming very, very, very soon. Looks like a healer to me, could be a mage, but most likely a healer. And she will be coming very, very soon, or so they said. And now we get to some more new heroes. We have this guy, which is a pirate. He looks absolutely amazing. Looks super, super cool. Most likely will be a fighter, but I'm not sure yet. The only other pirate character is Captain Reeve, and to some extent Razak, maybe technically. They're definitely cooking with this. Then we go over here, and these guys look cool too. We have a dwarf, and we have a guy with a big shield. These guys look very cool as well. Now, names and details and looks are obviously all subject to change, but these guys look so cool. And then we move on, and we get this girl right here, which you can see seems like it might be that girl that was just shown, but who knows. She looks pretty cool. And then we also have another tactical master unit, which I know this is a real figure that probably has a name, so if anyone knows, leave it in the comments. But we have him coming soon. And then we get to this one. This one, they kind of left it up in the air, but this guy is a big hero that they are planning on releasing. It's a mix between a Picasso type character, like a painter, an artist, combined with a necromancer. So he'll summon and construct paint creatures, and most likely they'll attack for him, but we didn't really get too much information on how he worked. But you can see we have visual highlights, character tags. He looks so cool. I'm so excited for this. This guy looks amazing. Now, most likely it'll be an esotericist or a cultist. They said they're undecided on whether or not they will be giving him the new faction, or maybe they will keep him to existing factions. That's all subject to change, and they're still deciding. But this is a character they're very, very, very keen on, and they really want to make good and kind of an important player in the future. So keep that in mind as well. Something else that I want to note is around this portion, Fastidious actually asked if Boreas would be made a Northerner dual faction, and they said they're considering it, but what will be more likely is if he fits in the new faction, he will get the new faction tag. So they may go back and they may give the new faction a bunch of pre-existing heroes, and they made dual faction it to allow old heroes to have a little bit more use and maybe spice up the new faction a little bit more. So it means like it's not going to be ancient exclusive like Arbiters and Chaos. It seems like it's going to be an extension to the normal factions. So keep that in mind as well, which is huge. Now we get to some of the new skins. We're starting off with the Erlang Shen skin. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, just what it seems like to me. I think this one has already been revealed. As you can see the animations. This one should be coming very, very, very soon. It's not the only skin though, of course. We also have this skin, which it looks like Magda or Zillitu. If this is Zillitu or Magda though, it would be the first hero ever to have two skins. So I'm not really sure how this is really going to look, but this is definitely an option and it's kind of interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and maybe it's a second skin for heroes, which would be kind of interesting. And let's just say some of these new skins are spicy. Look at this Yuri skin. God damn. She's looking pretty spicy there. I don't think this is going to be anything short of them making a lot of money, because this skin is sick. I really, really like the vibes. And yeah, they know what they're doing. And then we have, once again, seems like Erlang Shen to me. I'm not sure though, at the end of the day. Cool concept art there. We have the Lady Alexandra skin, which I think looks amazing. They really, really went all out on this one. And we also have this guy. So this is going to be a little bit of a deep cut. When we go to the Mabucket interview of 2024 content, what you're going to be able to see is, you know, we got Narissa, we got Nastia in here, we got Ingrid, and we got this guy. Now, what is this guy? It could be a new Arbiter Lord, it could be something else. He has not been released, but this is supposed to be a new hero. And then you go over to here to the new dev interview slides, and you can see that there's a skin for a guy that looks very, very similar. So is that the new Arbiter Lord that's coming? Confirmed because they are releasing information on this skin? I don't know, but that is what it looks like to me. Obviously, it's up in the air. So now we get to the Q&A portion, and there was a lot to talk about here. Specifically, the biggest thing was the Soulstone pity and all of that stuff. Let's just say we argued with them for a while. I want to show you that, but I also want to show you some other things that they answered.
So firstly, these questions in this slide are all related to future update plans for existing game content. So let's go through them one by one. So the expansion of the Void Rift epilogue and the new map of Void Rift we mentioned earlier are both in the works, and the new faction trial stages are also planned. And we are planning to release new stages for 2 or 3 factions within this year. United Front will continue to be released as a monthly recurring event update, with adjustments to stages or modifiers each cycle to ensure players always have fresh and varied experiences. Demonic Crusade will begin its update plan in the second half of the year. Please stay tuned to official community announcements for the exact release timing. For the Gear Dungeon, new floors for Dungeon 1 and 2 are already being planned, and we are also planning the brand new content for Gear Dungeon 3. Additionally, we are planning to increase rewards for the Gear Dungeon and remove stamina costs for it. Regarding new gear slots, there are no plans at the moment. Our focus will be on future refining Malric's Hall of Illusion and the Gem system, as well as continuing to expand the coverage of exclusive gear and artifacts. And the Battle Replay feature for Arena is currently in development and is expected to go live around September this year. The question is, are there plans to buff some of the more useless heroes and lords? There are many legendaries that aren't good anywhere that really need some love, especially lords like Elder. If so, who is on the list to be buffed? We've already been focused on keeping heroes balanced and relevant, and over the past 6 months, we've already updated and buffed more than 20 old heroes. We are currently working on strengthening Elder right now, and moving forward, we'll keep pushing ahead with the old hero improvement plan. And honestly, players' feedback is one of the biggest things we look at when we make those decisions. Right now, we are running the Pioneer vote for Classic Hero Revamp event, and we'd love for you all to take part and tell us which heroes you would want to see improved the most. Every piece of feedback you provide helps us build a better game experience.
And now we get to the rocky part. I'm going to skip through a lot of the conversation that happened here. The answers for the other things were pretty interesting. Like, for the A5 for free heroes in the future, they say stuff like Ma will be added to the pool, and going forward, free heroes will be added to the pool a little bit later, so you can get the awakenings for them. And if they're planning on doing... if you're planning on doing collabs with big IPs, they said yes, they have a couple scheduled. So we have confirmation that we have a couple collaborations that are going to happen in the future, not just one, which is pretty huge. But basically, will you introduce Soulstone Pity and or Soulstone Shards? There's far too much luck-based variants with Soulstones. I know people who have gotten 10 unpolished, and I know people who have only gotten 1 ever from Guild Boss. Let's just say the answer was a little concerning and took a little bit of discussion. This lasted about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to show you guys the highlights, and you guys will get the idea.
And the next question is, will you introduce Soulstone Pity and Soulstone Shards? There is far too much luck-based variance with Soulstones. The answer is, to make sure players have a good experience, we have already built in a Pity system. It keeps the fun of randomness, but makes sure no one ends up with an extremely unlucky experience.
That's easy.
Soulstone Pity, you said, is already existing now, or is gonna be soon? What does that mean exactly? Like, every time you get a chest from clan boss, guild boss, whatever, you tick away a pity hit if you don't get one, or what does that really mean?
We're back. So the exact details are pretty complex and involve a lot of probability calculations. So it's not really something we can break down here. But the main point is it's there to avoid those extreme cases of bad luck and make sure everyone's experience feels fair. And of course, we'll keep listening to your feedbacks to make sure that players can have a good experience with it.
Are you saying this already exists in the game? This is already live in the game?
Yeah.
It's already live in the game.
Can I ask something? Number 1, when was this added? Number 2, why was this not talked about? And number 3, how does it work? Where do we find the information? How many days is it? You know, like these are all important things. Sorry, I asked like 5 questions at once. My bad.
No, I mean,
It's true that like people have not gotten one since like it came out.
This
so
is
they're
The thing
not
is, if this
working.
was added last
it's
patch,
there.
it would have been fine if we would have known about it.
Yeah.
And then it's like people haven't gotten it because they haven't reached the
Kind
pity.
of a big deal.
But the fact that it hasn't been talked about is not a good
well, if
thing.
this has been there the whole time and we think the current system is fair, I think that we've got an enormous problem.
We're back. About this question, it's the Soulstone Pity have been added a while ago, and it's we are continuously working on that to make it better balance. And what we can answer is it's working as intended as what we designed it.
If this is working as intended, I think you should reevaluate your intention, because currently the system is fundamentally flawed.
Now, it keeps going for a while here. It's basically, hey, it's working not well if it does exist, or hey, there's no way it exists. Why was this not communicated? And then like limited banners are kind of rough and blah, 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 blah. This went on for a while. So that's kind of the TLDR. It's basically just back and forth. They kept saying, hey, you know, it's working as intended, but we'll still investigate and blah, 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 blah. And we were like, hey, it's not enough. You know, we an idea of a pity is not good. You know, it needs to be deeper. And that's what we kept going. And eventually we got this response.
Guys, we're back. So we have received all your opinions, all your feedbacks, and we'll be thinking about how to improve this particular experience. And just you guys will see in the future.
Yeah.
We'll make some adjustments. Okay.
Can I just ask one question quickly before we move on? Unless
Sure.
anyone else has more questions. So transparency has always been a little bit of an issue. Why was there no notice about there being a Soulstone pity added, or why was this never communicated? And why is there nothing in game that shows how the Soulstone pity works and that it's even in the game? If it is already.
Yeah. So basically, if you look around in the gacha industry, so for a lot of the games, it's generally a pity system. When a pity system is introduced in the game, I think most of the games doesn't put it into the notes. So it's not something the game developers like to talk a lot about.
While I understand what you're saying, I would make a very strong suggestion to to maybe try to do that in the future. Just hey, we added this. Here's how it works. And then you never have to talk about it again until you change it. That would go a long way, because people have been asking for Soulstone pity for many, many months. And the fact that it is apparently in the game already, and people are still asking for it because there's been no information out that it's even there, I think it would go a long way that this is shown somewhere. No matter what other gacha games do or anything, this is the right way to do it, is to...
The reason we like this game is because it's not like other gacha games. That's why we're
That's
also
correct.
It's not your average RPG.
It's not your average RPG.
That's your average RPG. Destined.
Message received. Just a moment.
Damn, I could really go for some Water of Realms right now. You can download it on your nearest App Store or Google Play Store, or
Yeah.
on your computer. Great game, spend all the money you can. This is not an ad. Yeah, we're not like Reed.
We're not like Reed.
About this Soulstone pity system, so we have discussed that at a certain point, that which is suitable, we will be discussing some of the core mechanics of the pity system, but not every detail, not everything in detail, of course. And we'll also be considering adding another long-term pity system, which may sort of like you guarantee you will have certain Soulstone drops in a long time period.
Yeah.
Like, for example, it's just an example, right? It maybe one Soulstone for certain when you are playing this game for a year, something like that.
Okay, yeah,
think
that
that's all
would go
good.
a long way for sure.
Yeah, it would.
And the only request on top of that is when it's added, please just announce it somehow, and then announce the amount of days, and that's all you have to do. Like,
Yeah. There will be some announcement along with it.
and with that out of the way, that is the dev interview. A lot of cool stuff. I mean, Abyss 2.0 and Apoc 3-in-1. We got new Void Rift, we got new interesting looking heroes, new changes to the Northerners, and different pieces of content. I'm very excited. But what I'm also excited about is potential Soulstone pity. It was kind of a little rocky the whole time and seemed pretty against it. But then I came in with the, well, this is not the average RPG. And I think that literally was the line that convinced them to change. So if it happens, you're welcome. I'm kidding, obviously, but here's to hoping. It was a lot of fun. I love that they're open to doing these developer interviews and seem open to change, open to suggestions. And while we might not always see eye to eye, I loved being invited to this one. It was a lot of fun, and I am excited for the future. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you all in the next one, and that's it for me, Destined, signing out.